this looks interesting. Warms up the water. Okay. Oh, it's ready to use. Cool. How do I... Wait. I put my balls in it and zap my balls for a few minutes? It's got an app, though. Wow, the timer on that thing. Your balls are in there for 4 minutes while it zaps it with Ultra? That can't be good. That cannot be good for your balls.
Remember when George Bush said this?
Facing clear evidence of peril, we cannot wait for the final proof. The smoking gun that could come in the form of a mushroom cloud.
Okay, now he was just making all that up, and here is Dick Cheney doing the same thing.
Simply stated, there is no doubt that Saddam Hussein now has weapons of mass destruction. There is no doubt that he is amassing them to use them against our friends, against our allies, and against us. And there is no doubt that his aggressive regional ambitions will lead him into future confrontations with his neighbors. Confrontations that will involve both the weapons that he has today and the ones he will continue to develop with his oil wealth. Simply state.
So, have we learned anything from these two guys? I mean, what is it going to be? Is it bad when any politician says stuff like this, or was it never really about what they were saying, right? Because, well, here, let me show you one more. Here.
There is no question whatsoever that Saddam is seeking and is working and is advancing towards the development of nuclear weapons. No question whatsoever. The nuclear armed Saddam will place the security of our entire world at risk. And make no mistake about it, if and once Saddam has nuclear weapons, the terror network will have nuclear weapons.
Oh, so Donald Trump used to say stuff like this. The United States has spent $8 trillion fighting and policing the Middle East. Thousands of our great soldiers have died or been badly wounded. Millions of people have died on the other side. Going into the Middle East is the worst decision ever made. He used to say that as recent as 2019. He said that as recent as 2019. And you remember what got him elected the first time? Was when he said this to Jeb Bush at a debate. You remember this?
Weapons of mass destruction, there were none, and they knew there were none. There were no weapons of mass destruction. Obviously, the war in Iraq was a big, fat mistake, all right? Now, you can take it any way you want, and it took Jeb Bush, if you remember at the beginning of his announcement, when he announced for president, took him 5 days. He went back. It was a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. Took him 5 days before his people told him what to say, and he ultimately said it was a mistake. The war in Iraq, we spent $2 trillion, thousands of lives. We don't even have it. Iran is taking over Iraq with the second largest oil reserves in the world. Obviously, it was a mistake. So George Bush made a mistake. We can make mistakes, but that one was a beauty. We should have never been in Iraq. We have destabilized the Middle East.
But so you still think he should be impeached?
I think it's my turn, isn't it?
You do whatever you want. You call it whatever you want. I want to tell you, they lied.
Okay.
They said there were weapons of mass destruction. There were none, and they knew there were none. There were no weapons of mass destruction.
All right.
So now Trump is now siding with the people he used to yell at. He's now siding with the Jeb Bushes. He's now siding with the neocons. He's now siding with the Zionists, the people who wanted all the Iraq war, the people who wanted the Libyan war, the people who wanted the Afghanistan war for 20 years, the people who wanted the Syrian war, the people who wanted to bomb Yemen, Somalia, the Sudan. He's now siding with those people. That's all. Glenn went out to point out that he's listening to all the people that were advising George Bush, Dick Cheney, and Jeb Bush. Now, those are the people he's listening to, because here he was at the State of the Union last night, and he's talking about going to war with Iran, and even the Democrats are cheering. The Democrats, this is the only thing they stood up for all night. Let's watch.
They've already developed missiles that can threaten Europe and our bases overseas, and they're working to build missiles that will soon reach the United States of America. After Midnight Hammer, they were warned to make no future attempts to rebuild their weapons program, and in particular, nuclear weapons. Yet they continue, starting it all over. We wiped it out, and they want to start all over again.
So it's the same thing. They're not even changing the script. that they're developing weapons. There's this country in the Middle East that never threatened us, never gonna threaten us, never did anything, never invaded. But they're somehow they're gonna have weapons, and then it's all over for us. Iran's gonna take over the world. It's the same script. They didn't even bother to come up with a new one. I think that's the most insulting thing.
And are at this moment again pursuing their sinister ambitions. We are in negotiations with them. They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never have a nuclear weapon. My preference.
That's both
My
sides of
preference
the
is to
aisle.
solve this problem through diplomacy. But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far.
The world's #1 terrorist by far, and nobody even comes close, is the United States. By far. We've set the Middle East on fire. We did Iraq twice. We did Syria, turned it over to the Al-Qaeda. We did Afghanistan for 20 years, spent $1 trillion, turned it over to the Taliban. We did Libya, turned it over to terrorists and open slave trade. We're funding the genocide right now in Gaza. We're funding what's happening in Ukraine. We're the world's biggest terrorists by far. Look what we just did to Venezuela. We're starving Cuba. So this idea that Iran is that's just their definition of terrorism. That's it. Anybody who fights back against the United States imperialism or Israel's is a terrorist. Okay.
Who have a nuclear weapon, can't let that happen.
Can't let them have a nuclear weapon. Can't do it. We can't let them have a nuclear weapon. And the entire chamber stands up. Democrats included. That's what Max Blumenthal says. Trump recycles George W. Bush's Iraq War WMD propaganda, warning that Iran is planning to strike Europe and the U.S. with nuclear weapons. Many Democrats stood and applauded after staying seated all night. So there you go. Again, pretending that the Democrats and Republicans are different in any substantial way makes you a chump. They're not different in any way. Donald Trump said he was getting rid of censorship. He brought in all new types of censorship. Donald Trump said he was going to end the wars, invest that money back here. He's already bombed Iran. He's already bombed Yemen at the behest of Israel. He's already welcomed the head chopper from Al-Qaeda from Syria to the White House. As we still have people in Guantanamo, he's still funding the Ukraine war. He's overthrown Venezuela. He wants to go bomb Mexico, and he's doing siege warfare on Cuba, which is a war crime. And now he wants to go back into Iran. He wants to finish the job. He wants to go back into Iran, do the Iran war. Whatever happened to this guy? Whatever happened to where is he?
There is
this guy.
Weapons of mass destruction, there were none, and they knew there were none. There were no weapons of mass destruction.
What happened to that guy? The exact opposite. He is now one of them. He is now Jeb Bush. He is now Dick Cheney. He is now George W. Bush. He's that guy. And he's going into Iran. They're going to do a false flag. They're going to blame it on Iran, and they're doing this. Why? Because Benjamin Netanyahu wants them to do this, and anything Benjamin Netanyahu wants, they do. Now, Trump will tell you he does this at the behest of Miriam Adelson. But I think he wants you to think that's why he's doing it. I think he's doing it because Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu have him by the balls. So there's a reason why they're not releasing those extra 3 million files of the Epstein. And, you know, a lot of people said that when that postcard, that birthday card that Trump sent to Jeffrey Epstein got released through the New York Times, that was the doing of Israel. That was the doing of Benjamin Netanyahu to pressure Donald Trump to bomb Iran. That's what a lot of people, that's the speculation. So obviously he's doing the bidding of Israel. He wants you to think it's because of Miriam Adelson's $200 million she gave him. But I think it's really because he doesn't want to admit that he's, if it was known, He's got a lot of blackmail on him. Is being held by the Mossad. That's what I think. So let's go back to how people reacted. 2.5 minutes of straight up Israel first war propaganda. That's what that was. Weapons of mass destruction, vastly overreported protester deaths, hysteria over nuclear weapons program that doesn't even exist. Just like Saddam Hussein. Same thing. This is the same playbook. Non-threat as a dire threat. Iran's not a threat to the United States. They don't even have missiles that could reach here. They're using every old trick in the book. I would feel better if they came up with new tricks. Here and the Democrats on board. So again, it's like if your parents got divorced, but they all still, the Democrats and Republicans, they're like divorced, but like your parents are divorced and they still agree on all the most horrible stuff. They all agree on the war in Ukraine. They all agree on funding a genocide in Gaza, and they all agree on a war in Iran and Venezuela. By the way, they agree on that too. They all agree on all the worst stuff. So they didn't even, here, I like this, they didn't even get creative with the war propaganda anymore. Everything is just 2002, 2003 era neocon rebranded. Hey, you're telling me the American government can't cook up a better psychological operation than this? Maybe the old masters are retired. Even the dog shit before was better than whatever this is. Michael DeWitt says, you could have asked for them to stand if Israel was blackmailing them, and the same group would have stood up. Also, blink if you're in the Epstein files. And so Mohammed Nader is doing a lot of tweeting about this. He says, MAGA isn't a movement. It's a clown reflex. Every circus needs noise. MAGA provides it. No policy, no plan, just costumes and yelling. Same hats, same chants, different clowns. So I think that most of MAGA that are legit in championing Trump's campaign agenda have left Trump. People like Thomas Massie, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Candace Owens. We've showed you myriad Trump voters who now have regret and remorse and feel betrayed because they are being betrayed. And so the people left, you know, the Gunther, whatever his name is, the Cat Turds, the Gunther Eaglemans, the Dan Bonginos. That's who he's talking about here. The people, it's just a clown reflex. They just go back on everything they've said for the last 10 years, and now they become the people that they claimed to be fighting and hating. And so now they're Dan Bongino and Kash Patel. Instead of exposing the Epstein files, they're covering up. They're, as Dan Bongino said, they're having custody over information. That's what we sent him to Washington for, was to have custody over information. No, we sent you there to expose it. So Candace Owens said, you know, that the MAGA was ended the day he called his own supporters clowns and idiots for wanting to release of the Epstein files. So that's when she said it was over. I think it was over when he bombed Iran. But here's another one. A country of 350, that's the United States, obeys a prime minister of a state smaller than New Jersey. Think about that. That's who's really controlling the United States right now. Our foreign policy is a country smaller than New Jersey. Meanwhile, Gaza is 141 square miles. They've been under siege for 20 years, and they never kneeled to Israel. But the U.S. officials can't even refuse a wall-kissing order. Not even once. A tiny strip stands tall. A superpower kneels. So the Gazans, the Palestinians, they stand up to Israel. But a superpower, the United States, we kneel immediately. And that's what this is about. A superpower kneels. Explain that. Miriam Adelson, she's the original Erica Kirk, by the way. She's the queen alien laying honeypot eggs on a conveyor belt. But just somebody put this together. I don't know who. Maybe it's up here. Forbidden Clothes, at Forbidden Clothes. This is, hey, you just got drafted to fight in Iran. That's what this video is.
But Mom, I don't want to go fight Iranians for Israel.
Joey,
Don't you dare be anti-Semitic!
I want to go home, sir! You some kind of anti-Semite, Joey!
I don't even know why we were there.
Let's focus on why that thought is anti-Semitic, Joey.
Get a job, loser. Israel needs our taxes.
But I'm not even dead.
That's anti-Semitic, son.
Well done. That's very nicely done. Forbidden close. It's coming. And let's just remember all the times that Donald Trump tweeted against a war with Iran. In 2011, he said, in order to get elected, Obama will start a war with Iran. In 2012, he said, Barack Obama will attack Iran in order to get reelected. In 2013, he said, I predict that President Obama will at some point attack Iran in order to save face. And then in 2013, he said, remember that I predicted a long time ago that President Obama will attack Iran because of his inability to negotiate properly, not skilled. So anybody who calls themselves MAGA, who's cheering Donald Trump's drumbeat to war with Iran, is never believed in anything that the MAGA was stood for in the first place. So you're just fakes and phonies and sycophants, and actually you're betraying the United States, just like Donald Trump is, because he's doing this at the behest of Israel. It's not in our interest to do this at all. It's the exact opposite, as Donald Trump used to say. Donald Trump says there was no weapons of mass destruction, and they knew it, and they lied. Donald Trump said it was the biggest mistake we ever made. Here it is. Going into the Middle East is the worst decision ever made. And now he's doing the same thing. And there's a small group of people who call themselves MAGA that are going along with it. Marjorie Taylor Greene's not going along with it. Thomas Massey doesn't go along with it. Tucker Carlson doesn't go along with it. The number one conservative newsman in the country, Candace Owens, doesn't go along with it. I don't go along with it. I don't know who is honestly going along with this, who isn't being paid or pressured to go along with this. But where's this guy? Where the F is this guy?
Weapons of mass destruction, there were none, and they knew there were none. There were no weapons of mass destruction. Obviously, the war in Iraq was a big, fat mistake.
And that's why people voted for him the first time. That's why a lot of people voted for him the second time. He now has now he's turned into the thing he used to rail against. He's that guy. He surrounded himself with all the same people, all the same Zionists, all the same neocons, and they're going to do it. So, and really the reason I really wanted to do this, because I didn't want to cover his speech last night at all. I watched it, most of it, and it was, it's just stomach churning. It's just as much as Joe Biden's was stomach churning. It's not, this isn't partisan. But Donald Trump promised to not go into these wars. He promised to end these wars in 24 hours. He promised that you could do, instead of bombing, you could do a phone call like he said he would do with Yemen. And then he went and bombed Yemen. He's still funding Ukraine. He's still funding the genocide in Gaza. He's bombed Iran already. He's already welcomed the head chopper from Al-Qaeda to the White House from Syria. This is all at the behest of Israel. And so the reason I wanted to cover this, because it's not newsworthy, and nothing he said last night was newsworthy, except the fact that what got revealed was that the Democrats agree with Donald Trump on all the worst things he wants to do. You want to triple the budget for the Pentagon? Go do it. You want to go invade Iran? Go do it. You want to overthrow Venezuela? Go do it. You want to keep funding a war with Russia? Go do it. They're all for it. They're all for all the worst things he wants to do. You want to keep Americans from actual having health care? Go do it. And they'll do it. You want to keep people from having a raise in the minimum wage? Go do it. And that's what this is what the Democrats and and the Republicans, this is all theater, and it doesn't matter who you vote for. You get John McCain, and you get an exploding deficit. The Democrats are for the exploding deficits. The Republicans are for the exploding deficits. They're for the devaluation of the dollar. The Democrats are for the devaluation of the dollar. They're for foreign wars. The Democrats are for foreign wars. So all the billionaires that actually run things, they all like each other and work together behind the scenes. And they're the ones who really run things. Donald Trump is not the boss. He has a handler. He has a boss. One of those bosses is Benjamin Netanyahu. And I don't know how we get out of this without some kind of real revolution, something big, like the truckers did in Canada when they shut down Canada. We need something like that to take our country back, but it's not going to happen until the rest of the world stops using the United States dollar as the reserve currency, which is coming. I predict it will probably come within 10 years. I'm not good at predictions, but that is what, when people lose their life savings, when they lose their retirement, when we go into a deflation spiral or an inflation spiral, that's what will make people finally wake up, get in the streets. Like, wait, I go to work all day. When I come home, I'm more in debt than when I left for work. That's what will make people get in the streets. But until then, even though 50% of the country can't afford a $400 emergency, 70 to 80% of workers work paycheck to paycheck, people still go bankrupt on the regular. People are spending $40,000 a year just for health insurance for a couple. So it's bad, but it's going to have to get significantly more painful for people to actually get in the street and do something and take our country back. Because voting isn't going to do it. People thought that voting for Donald Trump was going to have a massive change. I thought there would be a change. And that's, again, me hoping. I had hope that there would be. I didn't have faith. I had hope. But no, it was all a head fake. The appointing Tulsi Gabbard was a head fake. All of it. RFK Jr., now they're putting out executive orders so they can poison us with glyphosate in all of our food. They're giving $35 billion to Big Pharma so they can poison us with Ozempic. Instead of giving us healthy food and gym memberships, they're giving $35 billion to Ozempic manufacturers instead of giving us healthy food and gym So again, there's no getting out of this. Our government is completely corrupt. Your vote doesn't matter. It does not matter. Don't be a chump and think that it matters. It might matter locally. It certainly doesn't matter on a national level. And the Democrats go right along. And if you'd like to hear my jokes about this, come see me in San Antonio, Albuquerque, Houston, Dallas, Salt Lake City. We'll be at the Comedy Store in Los Angeles, April 17th, Las Vegas, Tulsa, and Oklahoma City after that. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and only go there because anywhere else will charge you more money. Over to Steph.
All right. Thank you, Jimmy. The next election in the U.S. is going to be next November, 2026. And people talk about a revolution or how do you, it has to be, it's like going to be in steps. A lot of times they say about organizing chaos in the United States by doing, doing some sort of activism in one state and have it organized so they don't know where things are going to pop. But, it's like nobody's going to come and get my vote. There's no politician. I'm taking all the surveys that they call. If you have a survey and, about the upcoming elections, I'm going to sit through the survey. I can't help myself. It's laughable. I was listening to a survey the other day and they were telling me all this pie in the sky each candidate is promising. Gavin Newsom promised that he would do Medicare for all in California, but that's not what the people of California got. So I don't know. Come get my vote because I'm not voting. Come get my vote. What are you going to deliver on? And so maybe that's where the revolution has to start. I mean, first and foremost, do we really get who we vote for? All right, back to the chats, people. Come on. Keep it going. Censorious. That's from Savage. Thank you, Censorious. All right, moving on. This is an imposter Kerp. We demand the real Kerp. About 5-ish today. A very angry laundromat. Thank you for that. I went looking for a Representative Stacey Plaskett segment the other day and couldn't find it. Would you please clip it and drop it for the public? Will do. Will do. Probably drop tomorrow. This is an imposter. Oh, I read that one. All right. The PM of Norway was arrested after a suicide attempt. Oh! Because he was in the Epstein files? Whoa. Whoa. That is wild. Okay, this is Just Want World Peace. When you talk to guests about Mexico, can you ask them about the scandal the Epstein files exposed regarding the U.S. Marine serving time for the U.S. ambassador being a short eyes? I don't know what that last part means. Did I just say something horrible? Trump was a heroin king of the world in first term. He continued Cheney's guarding of the poppy fields and transport by our military in Afghanistan, supplying 85% of the world demand. He knew. Active guardian. Have you seen the Black Sea pipeline attack against Russia? Is the world reaching a tipping point soon when you look at Iran, Cuba, Mexico? Who else? Mammoth. There's got to be something better than war. What the flip's wrong with us? More you do, because not us. I don't think I know anybody who's bloodthirsty who wants to go to war and champion more war. Wasn't Trump supposed to be the peace president? How many people voted for Trump to end these wars, to get out of the wars? Because we certainly couldn't see Kamala Harris. We couldn't see her stopping any war. But free porn, Jimmy, kill a bee kid. After Schrumble, Congress is not our friends. You are correct about that one. I am Batman. All those military leaders want to use your children for the meat grinder. What difference between that and what Epstein and company did? I am Batman. Thank you. The world's #1 terror state is Israel. That's Mr. AL444. Oh my gosh, fully laden swallow. Hold on here. Bam. Post admin George Jr. joking at dinner party. Maybe the weapons are under this rock. Nope, nothing to see here. That is a great clip. I will find that clip and you will see it. It's a great clip. I appreciate that one. I'm going to put it to the side to remind myself. Don't forget that all the Never Trumpers are now 100% behind Trump. Trump, war, Iran, yum. E.W. Walker. I did a better stop on my ex for 20 years. Morty Duke. Bullshit, distraction. It's all U.S. driven as outlined in the Wolfowitz Doctrine. See our card. Fidgety guy. You have no choice, only the illusion of choice. George Carlin. Well, DJT was almost right. I mean, Obama bombed Iran adjacent. Don't look at a map. I mean, philosophically, Obama bombed 7 other countries. Libya, Syria, Yemen, Somalia, Lebanon, Afghanistan, Iraq. Winner. Every country that doesn't use U.S. dollars will get U.S. bombs. Every country that doesn't use U.S. dollars will get U.S. bombs. Giraffe Rider. Thank you for that. How you doing, Jimmy? Oh, okay, hold on. Let's see what this... Oh, I got some here. Let's see this one. Ask JD if he knows what a short eyes is. Oh, Just Want World Peace. Hey, Steph, when are you and Jimmy coming back to Palm Springs? Squadcast TV. If we were there last year, probably not for another 6 months. Okay, that's what I think. Let's see. Did I read that one? I did. But fully laden swallow, that is such a great clip. Maybe the weapons are under this rock. Nope, nothing to see here. Just that he did that at the correspondence dinner and everybody laughed. That's scandalous. Everybody laughed in that room. Weapons of mass. Oh, that's not dark humor. That's oligarch humor. That's, weapons of mass destruction here, humor. Just awful. All right, let's see here, folks. Sup, Steph? Nothing, Tankella. What's up with you? All right, look here. Let's see here. Oh, and just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, book club is this Saturday at 1 p.m. If you just tuned in, book club, and we're reading Memories, Dreams, and Reflections, Carl Jung. We're going to be reading up to the end of chapter 3. So tune in, and Jimmy will give you some guidance and conversation. First one went great. All right,
Okay.
back to Jim.